I was the first in my family to have the opportunity to go on to college, and that has changed my life. I mean, I've done things that I never dreamed would be possible.
John came from Illinois. His father worked on a milk farm and didn't want to see John have to work as hard as he did. So John, had that passion for the students in the San Joaquin Valley.
With John Welty, it really started with a vision, and he had experience in other parts of the country and saw the impact that major universities can have on their immediate surrounding area. And so he came here with the understanding that Fresno State could be a major instrument in turning around a region that really desperately needed it.
And I thought that there was a great opportunity here for the university to connect itself with the region and to demonstrate that a public university can be a major contributor to the region in which it's located.
When John came here, he immediately set to work in the long-term vision of making Fresno State a fully engaged university.
And it's been very visionary on his part, I think, that he can muster all the resources and the wonderful faculty and staff to try to address some of the problems that we face here in Fresno.
I think Dr. Welty completely changed the way the university connected with the city and with the region.
Fresno State can never again be thought of as an isolated higher education institution. It is in fact the center of enterprise for the region.
He has always wanted Fresno State to be seen as a problem solver and a partner throughout the Central Valley. And as a result of his leadership, we are engaged in helping the region solve its many problems.
As he's made Fresno State the economic engine of the San Joaquin Valley.
If you were to think of one individual that has changed the face of Fresno, that person would have to be President Welty.
He's a man of great principle and integrity. And he's a quiet man with the backbone of steel.
John Welty has been president of Fresno State longer than any other president ever served there. But John's greatest accomplishment was the focus on the Central Valley and the young people from the underserved communities.
He has always put students first.
That is a reflex for President Welty, his commitment to students.
Some of my best memories are about student celebrations of their accomplishments.
I think what really makes a difference for me is to see those students who have overcome incredible obstacles and they reach success. And that's what higher education is all about, transforming lives.
I've known him for a long time through many changes in hairstyles on both of our parts. Actually, not on his part. His hair hasn't changed a bit. Mine has changed many times. If you look at the photo today versus back then. But I've been a student at Fresno State. I've worked for him for 8 years, which was a real pleasure, and now enjoy the relationship as mayor of the city in which his university resides. I think a lot of people learned as we watched him, and we watched him go after big dreams and big visions, but in a very systematic, solid, step-by-step kind of manner.
He really listens and lets you run with things, and that's part of being a great mentor, a great leader, and a great teacher. And in many ways, he exhibits all of those traits every day.
If you have difficult things to say to him, he's very open to it and he listens, but he wants to get you to get right to it. But you always know that you've hit the button if he pulls out this little pad of paper and it sort of makes a loud thump on the desk, and he'll scratch out a note like, oh, okay, that has to change. And so you know that you've hit pay dirt when you've got that little pad of paper coming out.
It's fun to work with people that are excited about what they're doing, that have that gleam in their eye and that want to do additional things, and then to give them the freedom to try out things, to learn to be successful and also learn to stub their toe occasionally, but nevertheless to help them really get prepared to assume leadership positions.
His legacy is going to live on for quite some time.
Well, it's a very courageous move to start a capital campaign at this point in our sort of economic history.
When everything else looks like it's going to hell in a handbasket, he sees things as an opportunity.
He believed in the university, and he knew he could go out and tell that story.
I think they support the university because John has painted a picture for them of what a university can be. And I think they see themselves fitting into that picture in some way, shape, or form.
So I think his role in the capital campaign is so much more than just raising money for goals. It's about leaving a legacy, an impression, a transformative experience for everyone that was engaged with him in building that campaign.
There's plenty of bricks and mortar around that would not be here if it were not for John Welty.
Our beautiful library, our athletic facilities, our new buildings, they're phenomenal.
The Save Mart Center was a big idea that a lot of people thought was crazy, but it sits over there today. We have alumni who come back from the 70s and they go on the east side of the campus and they get lost. They've never seen any of that.
He's going to be remembered for a number of great things, but one of the things I think about President Welty is that he has put Fresno State on the national map in many ways.
We have more students, we have more courses, we have more graduate programs.
The addition of doctoral programs 20 years ago was unheard of, and yet he managed all of that. Only one person gets to lead the university through its centennial celebration. I think we did it with dignity and with excitement, and I think John really loved that whole year of the centennial celebration. But I know this for sure, when we celebrate the 200th and they write another book about Fresno State, there'll be at least one whole chapter dedicated to the tenure of John Welty as president here.
John Welty has been one of the best team players among all of the presidents of the CSU.
He didn't just run this campus. He was a statesman throughout the system.
Through his leadership, he has developed the identity of Fresno State to make us a major force and a major player, both academically and athletically on the national stage.
That Dr. Welty over the last decade has made special interest in ensuring that athletics is very much part of the university.
I thought it was important for the university to be in the best conference possible.
The advantage that we had as we were looking and aspiring to the Mountain West Conference was the great reputation that Dr. Welty has throughout the West. And once he was highly instrumental in us being invited into the Mountain West Conference.
That is something that John Welty worked on for 14 years, and when he accomplished that, he really did something for Fresno State.
President Welty currently serves as the Mountain West Conference representative to the NCAA Board of Directors and as well as the Bowl Championship Series group.
Let's see, my first impression of President Welty, it was, does the man ever sleep? I would look at his calendar and he'd be booked from 7 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes he'd have 3 events he would attend in one evening. And I said, do you want me to block off any time? He says, no, just keep them coming, just keep them coming.
He is a tireless worker. He outworks everybody. That's kind of legendary on campus. But he also never forgets anything. Sometimes people say the 4 most feared words from him are, where are we with fill in the blank?
He, I think, is known to be a very hard worker, but he has balance in his life too.
Well, John and Sharon are the perfect presidential couple. She's got this national reputation for being the perfect complement to him, and he to her.
They're both really witty. They both love golf. They both are just absolute professionals.
I came to Fresno State as a job, in a job interview, and I have to laugh because I came here, I never thought I would be in California. I came here as a practice interview. As somebody from Pennsylvania, I thought nobody could really afford to live in California. But I'll risk it and go for the interview. And I fell in love with California while I was here. And then John and I just found each other. It was kind of a nice thing to happen to both of us.
Sharon certainly has made a huge difference in my life. That's been one of the great joys of being at Fresno State. She's probably the one that should be honored completely this evening because she's really played about 3 different roles, and which can be very, very demanding.
Took a faculty position, loved being in the classroom, and was asked to be the director of the Joint Doctoral Program in Educational Leadership, and agreed to do that. And then the rest is all history. And I've been very happy here at Fresno State and very happy with my career.
I think she's a tireless worker also. They both serve this university so well. She's with him at all the events, there greeting everyone.
We're very fortunate to have the University House because it provides a place where we can showcase the university and entertain guests. It certainly is a public home.
A lot of people have keys and combinations, so you really never know who you're going to run into in the morning when you come down, when you're in your jammies, and you run into the kitchen and there's the plumber or the painter. But it's been a lot of fun.
I think if in this job, if you don't step back and laugh at yourself frequently, you're going to have problems.
Some things that people may not know about him is he has a wonderful sense of humor.
Particularly when we tell jokes about his driving.
There are 2 things about him that are legendary. One is his driving.
Well, he's kind of speedy, and I'm not. So, every time I get in that golf cart with him, I buckle up.
I have looked to avoid getting in the car with him after being in there a couple of times.
He's got one hand on the steering wheel, and he opens this briefcase full of papers, and I'm terrified.
Lynette Zalesny, the associate provost, and I were coming back from a Rotary meeting that John had also attended.
And so I was sort of watching the traffic around me. There was a very shiny Lexus in a hurry.
And it was zooming down the highway and, changing lanes very skillfully, etc.
And I said, boy, that person drives just like President Welty. And I looked up and I went, oh, it is President Welty. And we both really laughed. So, yeah, he beat us by about 10 minutes back to the office. But he has things to do, so I get that.
Well, actually, I've got a pretty good driving record compared to a lot of those that criticize my driving record. But I've always tried to do as much as I can while I'm driving and make good use of the time.
The second thing that's legendary about him is his handwriting.
It's gotten worse, too. I now have a magnifying glass.
Even he can't read it sometimes. We think it's Klingon.
The first time he wrote provost on a note to me, it looked like lots of different words to me, and none of them at first glance were provost. And then I started trying to problem solve, and I realized, well, I am the provost. Maybe this is provost, right? And finally realized that, yes, the word is provost. And from then on, of course, whatever that word was, for anyone else, for me meant provost. So it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve.
One of the funniest moments in my entire career was the day we celebrated John's 20th anniversary here. And the cabinet did this fabulous rendition of Big Bad John.
Every morning at the campus, no one saw him arrive. We were all still asleep when he started his drive. He shot into the place in a pretty good clip, and everybody knew you couldn't give the slip to Big John.
We were as ready as we could be.
Big John, Big John, Big Bad John.
He's dressed up like a fairy. He's milked cows. He's dressed up as a mariachi player.
We dressed him up as King Kong, and he wore a gorilla suit through the entire ceremony.
It was a faculty staff picnic several years ago when the cabinet did a karaoke of Gladys Knight and the Pips. We would twirl to the left and John would twirl to the right. I mean, we'd go a step forward and he'd step back. It was just hysterical.
I've done some things over the years I didn't think I was ever going to do. But it's always been fun.
But he's not a good pip. He was not a good pip.
I always tried to beat Dr. Smits in that crazy little, whatever it was, tricycle competition that we used to have on campus. And he always figured, he must have spent so much time practicing that I never could successfully beat him. So I may still work on that.
There was one year we dressed him up as Disco John and we were the Village Chicks. So we were all in costume. I think it was Cindy Matson's first day on campus.
I was just wearing regular clothes because it was my first day and got pulled up there to do the YMCA dance with President Welty and many others. So I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be a fun place to work.
We have a presidential Cheeto box. Dr. Welty, it's one of his little guilty pleasures. So we like to keep it full for him. It's in his closet, so he always has Cheetos available.
But we never have them at home. So when I went to his office and found out that he had an office full of Cheetos everywhere, I was pretty surprised. He might get some in his stocking one year. Now that we're transitioning out, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet.
Primarily, I'm going to miss the people. I very much have enjoyed working with the people at Fresno State. We've got some incredibly talented people who care deeply about what they're doing, from the staff, faculty, administrators, and certainly students. And so it'll be lonely not having the opportunity to interact with those folks, but hopefully some folks will stop down and see us, and if they don't want to play golf, we'll find something else to do.
He says he's going to do a lot of golfing and he's going to do just fine. I'm not real sure. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm not so sure he's going to be retired. He's just going to be maybe retreaded.
There have been lots of surprises, and it has been a full almost 22 years now. But I've always believed that you have a responsibility to give as much as you can to the university and the community in which you're living, and I shall never forget these experiences. There have been some great highs, there have been some lows, but all in all, Fresno State is a great university. It needs to believe in itself because I think it is making a major difference. It certainly has a distinction of a national university at this point, and everybody should be proud of what they've done.